Swaddy Cab, Jed here from Retiring Disgracefully. Just going to give you a little bit of an update on how the channel's going and what I'm planning to do. I'm back in Hua Hin, you can see by the temple up there. That's up on viewpoint. It's the viewpoint there, and there's this temple here. I went up there about 2 months ago, and I first came back to Hua Hin, and you can't go up there, it's very dangerous. All the floors are broken away, and I wouldn't be surprised if that comes tumbling down that mountain one day. But yeah, I'm staying at the Terminal Hotel. The reason I'm staying here is because of the price. I'm not mean, but I don't like to give my money to a hotel. I don't spend a lot of time in the room anyway. I'm out and about whenever I can, so I don't like to spend a lot of money on 5-star hotels like the Hilton or Radisson. When I worked at sea, yeah, because the company paid for it, I loved it. They'd put me up in 4 or 5-star hotels all over the world, and I loved it. But when I got to use my own money, no, I'm not too keen. But this is a lovely hotel, as I've said many times before, and the price has gone down now. I think it's only about 360 baht a night. I've heard people say it never rains, but it pours. Bad luck always comes in threes. I suppose there's hundreds of them little sayings and anecdotes out there, but unfortunately, quite often they come true. I was just starting to think positive again, planning what to do and where to go next. And then 2 days ago, I started to get a little bit of a chesty cough. That's not a Russian man's name, chesty cough. It's just I had a little bit of a bad chest, and I thought it was just the change of weather, because it has been quite cool here since I came back to Hua Hin. Still quite sunny, but the evenings have been quite cool, and I've been going out on an evening with just a t-shirt on, and I thought, oh, you caught a bit of a cold, Jed, but you'll be okay. The next day was worse, and then yesterday was worse than that. I couldn't get out of bed. So I thought, Jed, I think you got COVID. And I thought it was COVID because I have had it before. 2 years ago in March of 2020, I was staying at a hotel in Bang Saray near Pattaya, and there was also 2 coachloads of Chinese tourists staying there. I didn't think much of it when I was driving back from Bang Saray. I just thought, same thing, I thought I had a cold. Because in them days, back in 2020 March, COVID was just starting to raise its ugly head, and people didn't know so much about it then as they do now. There was no tests, there was no vaccines as there is now. But 2 years ago I got the symptoms. I went to the clinic and he said, look, it could be COVID. There was no tests, so he couldn't test me for anything. He just said, yeah, the symptoms are COVID. So I quarantined for 14 days. So anyway, they're the same symptoms that I've got now. So I went and got a COVID test, and yeah, unfortunately, as you can see on the screen, 2 red bars came up and I have COVID. Now then, I'm not that sick. I'm luckier than a lot of people my age. I'm 70, but I'm fit and I'm strong. So far, touch wood. But to me, this is like a bad dose of the flu. It's nothing for me to really get worried about. But I know a lot of people with underlying health issues, maybe heart problems or cancer problems or liver problems, then perhaps they are going to find it harder to beat COVID. Talking about COVID, here in Thailand, every morning I look at the newspapers and it gives you an update on COVID. And normally it says around about 20,000 to 21,000, sometimes 22,000 people a day being detected as having COVID. You have to take this with a grain of salt. If you're coming over here, you can't really believe those figures. That is only the people who have gone into the hospital. They don't have doctor's surgeries here as such, but they have clinics, or they've gone into a clinic and they've been diagnosed with COVID, and that then gets registered. But the majority of people are like me. They just don't feel well. They don't go to the hospital. They just think, okay, I've got COVID, go to the local pharmacy, get a COVID test, and you see you have COVID. And then hopefully they do what I did and they'll quarantine so not to spread it. But that's not guaranteed either. That's one of the things about Thailand that I do dislike. You know, they do spread disinformation. So you can't really rely on only 21,000 people having COVID. That's, you know, to me it's like having the flu anyway. So this is no different to me being in England and having a dose of the flu around Christmas time or in the winter, or getting a heavy cold after being caught out in the rain. This is just the same. For me, I know it's not the same for other people. A lot of people have died. A lot of people have lost their loved ones through COVID. I think COVID can be handled at home by yourself if you don't have any underlying problems, if you're fairly fit and healthy, if you're young. So yeah, even though there's maybe 40,000 people a day catching COVID here, the same as in most parts of the world, to me I think that's no different than someone catching the flu. But the problem is they can spread it to someone who is sick, and then they're going to face the consequences of your having COVID and giving it to them. So a problem we have here at the moment is it's coming up to mid-April, which is the Thai New Year, Songkran, and that's when all the families get together and have a big party for at least 3 days. Some of them do it for 2 weeks, just depends. It's where they have that big water fight, throwing water and hose pipes, and you know, you can walk down the street and people squirt water pistols or water cannons at you, and it's all good fun, and so I enjoy it. But the problem is at the moment is because of COVID, I didn't think they would allow it this year. They allowed it last year, and the funny thing is they didn't allow it the first year. When COVID first came, they stopped it. They said no, and in them days there was only talking about 10 or 20 people, 30 people who had COVID in 3 months up until April. So there wasn't big numbers even, but they cancelled Songkran because they were concerned. Then last year there was lots of people had COVID, and they said no, you can go ahead, you can have Songkran. And then there was a big spike last April, because what happens at Songkran is all the families get together, people in Bangkok, working in Bangkok or working in Phuket or Pattaya. They go back to their province to see their families and have a big celebration. It's a very big thing, Thai New Year here. It's you know, everyone enjoys it, and it's not just about drinking. A lot of Thai people don't even drink, but they love to party. So Songkran is a big thing in their lives, and the problem we're going to have, I think, now will be that because it's allowed to go ahead, everyone will be travelling, and someone like myself, for instance, if I didn't know I had COVID, because it takes a few days before it comes out, I might have gone somewhere for Songkran and spread it amongst all these people. And a lot of people will be doing that. Some people won't even know they're sick when they're travelling and going back to their village. And in the village, obviously, there's a lot of older people. You know, the grandmas and the grandpas are all living there. So it can spread through a family very quickly. So I was very surprised when the government allowed Songkran to go on. But I just think, you know, I love Songkran, but I think it's probably not a time to party here at the moment. I think it's time when they should be sort of saying, okay, try and stay home when you can. Still go out, enjoy yourselves, but don't be travelling all around Thailand if you don't have to. But unfortunately, that's what people do in Songkran. Also with Songkran, it shows you how many people are travelling, because it's those 2 weeks over Songkran is when there's more deaths on the road because of drink driving and people rushing to try and get to their provinces to see their families. So there's already a big toll on any Songkran with road deaths, but I hope that there's not going to be another spike, because Thailand is just getting ready now to open. You know, that's what the rumours are. Yeah, soon be able to open, and as long as you have a vaccination, there'll be no more COVID tests, there'll be no more having to stay in a hotel on arrival and taking a test. That's what they're talking about now for July, but that will only happen if there's not a spike, and the problem is with Songkran, there probably will be a spike. Now with the channel, I've had a lot of input from you guys, and I really do appreciate it. When you found out that I was stopping my channel for a while, a lot of people contacted me and gave me some good advice and constructive advice, which is fantastic. And they said, why don't you try this, why don't you try that? Some people said, seeing as I'm a chef, I should perhaps do maybe a cooking segment every now and again. And I thought, that's a great idea. Yeah, I can do that if people are interested in that. Just throw one in once a month or something, doing some Thai food. I can either do it myself or get a Thai chef to do a segment. So I'm going to do that. That's a great idea. I think 2 people mentioned that. I'm also going to change the name of the channel. I think one person said to me, you know, do you think Retiring Disgracefully is a good name? Does it imply that the channel is just for retirees? Well, thinking about it, yes, it does. So anyone who's 30 or 40 thinking of coming to live in Thailand, maybe a digital nomad, because a lot of people now are coming here to live. I see lots of people with families, and they work from home. Their office, you know, since COVID started, a lot of people don't have to go to the office anymore. They can live anywhere in the world and do their job. So a lot of people come here, and I've seen a lot of Farang here now who've made Thailand their home, but they're not like me, retired. They're not old enough to retire yet, and they haven't made enough money probably to retire, so they still need to work. But they come here, they rent a house or buy a house, and they work from home, in insurance, in banking, whatever. You know, I don't exactly know what they do, but many people now do work from home. My daughter's a lawyer. She does a lot of her work from home now because of COVID. So it's maybe having the name Retiring Disgracefully is not so good. So I'm going to think of some names that I think would be good for the channel, because you need a good name for a channel to attract people, and it has to tell them more or less at a glance what your channel's about. And I think when somebody sees retiree, they skip past me. I think that's where I go wrong. So I'm going to change the name. If anyone can think of a good name for the channel, please send me a message, and I'll get back to you soon. Anyway, next video I do, I'll tell you the names that I'm thinking of using, and you can get back to me and to say, oh yeah, that one's a good one, or that one's not a good one. I'm quite happy for your input, and I need help. I'm not a young man. I don't know what people want out there, but I do know that I enjoy doing this channel very much, and I want to continue doing it. So I'm going to quarantine now for the next 5 days, which will drive me mad. I hate staying in hotels. But it's a nice hotel anyway, so it's not too bad. It's not as if it's a backpackers with 4 people sharing a room and sharing a bathroom. So at least I've got my privacy, and I'm staying in a nice place. So look out for my next video. It'll be a little bit later now because I'm quarantining. I can't go and do any filming anywhere. One of the things I'm thinking of doing is sorry, it's your chest, that's where it hurts me. One of the things I'm thinking of doing once I can get out of quarantine and start traveling again is to take a slow drive down south, stopping at places that are off the beaten track for tourists. Lots of them, the whole of the east and west coast of Thailand. I've got so many beautiful places, but they don't have tourists. Never have done. They might get the local tourists from around the area using the beaches or going and having a look in their national parks, but not many tourists who come from Europe or USA or anywhere in the Western world where they come here and visit. So I'm going to take a slow drive, maybe drive for 1 hour south, then stop for the night, maybe 2 nights if there's plenty to see, then drive another hour. And I'll do this all the way down to Koh Samui, because I'm thinking of spending a few weeks in Koh Samui and maybe do the 10 best towns to retire or to live in as a digital nomad or as an expat. So that's what I'm thinking of doing, heading to Samui but taking it very slow, have a bit of a holiday. I feel like I need a bit of a break, just enjoying and getting used to doing the videoing again. So if I take a slow drive down, stop at about 5 towns, take me 5, 6, 7 days if I spend more than 1 day in each place, and then when I get to Samui, start to do the 10 best towns, starting with Koh Samui, which isn't a town, it's an island, but I'll go around the island and I'll show you all the best places. Okay, that's all for now. Hang in there. I am. As I say, it's crazy, you know, just all the time, just get one problem out of the way and another one comes. But I shouldn't complain. Jesus, I'm living in a beautiful country. I've got this outside my front door, or my back door, on the balcony. I've got a swimming pool, I can swim in when I want to, and just down the road I've got plenty of restaurants and bars to go to. So yeah, I'm not complaining. My life's still fantastic compared to a lot of people's lives, and a lot of people's lives in Thailand as well. A lot of Thai people are doing it tough, as I've said many times. I have a pension that comes in my bank every fortnight. Thai people that retire, they don't. So if you haven't already done so, please push the subscribe button, it'll help me a lot, thank you very much. And push the thumbs up button, and if you know of anyone who might like to watch my videos, push the link button and forward that to them. If you're thinking of retiring or living in Thailand, please take a look at my book, The Thailand Handbook, the first 6 months. You'll find it on Amazon. It's crammed full of information to help you tiptoe over the logistics of making Thailand your home in retirement. Thanks a lot for watching my video. So until next time, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers for now.